Hey friends, I am so excited to share today's video. I have a lot of things I want to share, so we're going to get started right into the video. I want to do a kind of mid-year review and update just to see how it's been going, checking in with our homeschool year. I am homeschooling a 5th grader and a 1st grader. This is our 5th year homeschooling. I also have a 3rd grader and she is going to school for the first time this year. I love making these type of homeschool update curriculum videos and I'm excited to dive in, and I'll get into that in just a second. But first I want to share a very, very exciting giveaway. I have teamed up with Creative Fabrica. If you have seen some of my videos before, I have shared about them several times in the past. Creative Fabrica is a really awesome resource. What it does is there is a teacher club card and it is $2.99 for the entire year. And with that $2.99, you get a year's worth of teaching materials. So it's equivalent of 5 downloads per week, or 260 for the entire year. So we have really been enjoying using it this past fall. In winter, I use it for my 5th grader to help with like multiplication, and my 1st grader, there's so many resources for younger kids as well. There's even resources for high school. We have used it for Christmas activities, fall activities, Thanksgiving activities. I'm going to use it probably for like Valentine's, and there's all different themes that you can choose from. So there's so many different cool downloads that you can get. And so again, if you just pay the $2.99, you get an entire year's worth of access to all these downloads for completely free. So Creative Fabrica, awesome company. They are going to be giving away a $200 Amazon gift card to one of you, and I am so excited. Like, I can't wait to share the winner. So how you enter, very simple, and you get something out of it regardless if you win or not. So what you do is you're going to be going to creativefabrica.com. So you're going to download the freebie. It's a free resource, which is a letter and number tracing book, and I'll link that down below. You're going to download the freebie letter and number tracing book, and the author of that is Simran Store. All you do is download it, leave a review for the author, what you liked about it, what you found most interesting about it, what your child liked, whatever. Just leave a review. Then come back to this video. That's very important. You got to do 2 things. You got to come back to this video, leave a comment with the hashtag teachers, and you will be entered for the giveaway. Very simple, very easy. Again, you get a freebie out of this. Come back next Monday, January 16th. I will announce the winner in a video, and you can be rewarded with your $200 Amazon gift card. So if you're wondering, I also will leave the instructions down below in the description so you can have that as well. Okay, so let's get started with the curriculum overview, mid-year review. What has changed, what we're liking, what we're not really loving so far, and all that good stuff. So first, I just want to start off with our kind of homeschool schedule, routine, whatever you want to call it. That one this year, I feel like every single year it changes for us, and that's totally fine and anticipated, just with your kids changing their needs and subjects changing, and you might be changing the amount of kids you're homeschooling, adding one, or not having one this year, or whatever it may be. So this year it took a while to kind of get into our groove and find what our routine was going to be, but I think we found what works. I know we have found what works for this year, and again, it looks different every year. So first, my oldest daughter, she is in 5th grade. She does math first thing in the morning. We drop Alexia off at school and then come home, and she gets started right away with math. She kind of does it quietly by herself, but it's just easier for her to concentrate and get her math done and all that, because it does take the longest. Her math takes her about an hour every day. So doing her math, which is the Good and the Beautiful level 5 math, she does that, and then we have a little bit of our morning time, and then after morning time, a break, recess, whatever you want to call it. They go outside and play if it's nice out. And then we come back and finish up independent work. And then that's when I do my subjects with my 1st graders. So that's when she does her reading and her math. That's just been how it's working, and it's been really, really good. So schedule we have down good routine. It works. It's great. So for morning time, group subjects, whatever you want to call it, we call it morning time, but it's basically just the time where we do Bible, science, some kind of extra like art or poetry or something like that, and then history all together as a group. And so that is just what we've done since the beginning, and it's worked. This year we are doing 2 different sciences for my girls. They do it on different days, and that's working well too this year. But we just finished up safety right before Christmas. We did the safety unit from The Good and the Beautiful, and it was fine. I'm gonna be honest, it was okay. So in the past I've said that The Good and the Beautiful, their curriculum, if I have it here, their old curriculum was geared towards, it says level K to 8, and I thought, and I know a lot of others have thought it's probably more not kindergarten level. So now the new levels that they have is, hold on. They have a revamped some of their sciences. They've done updates, which is great. And then they have made it for levels 3 to 8. So 3rd grade to 8th grade. However, I would say this is definitely, an 8th grader is going to be bored out of their mind with this, honestly. There wasn't anything on here that we hadn't already talked about and that my kids weren't already familiar with. There were a few things that maybe they added that that I hadn't thought of, but for the most part, I just think that general common sense, if you're talking to your kids about general safety and common sense, I just don't know if this was necessary. Definitely for my 5th grader, it was below her. She didn't complain or anything, but my 1st grader, she participated and she even knew all of this. There was not much in here that we really learned. Unfortunately, it's not that it was not done well. I just think this feels geared definitely more towards, even though it says 3rd to 8th grade, I feel like you could get away with it with your kindergartner, your 1st grader, your 2nd grader, and that would be fine. I have just recently purchased this maturation unit from The Good and the Beautiful. I still have not even bound it. What I think I'm going to do, because I was talking to my husband about this, and we kind of just decided at this point, I'm not going to go through the whole thing with her. And that's just a decision I've made. I know everybody has to make their own decisions, with how much information they want to give their kids and at what age. This point, I'm probably just going to cover some of the basics with her in 5th grade, and then in 6th grade, probably finish up the rest. We'll see. I don't know, maybe over the summer or something. I don't know. I'm kind of playing it by ear, honestly, but I think I'm just going to do a few lessons starting off, and then probably in the next few months, pick up and finish it there. Then we're going to be starting with our bird unit after that, and then finish off the year with marine biology. So those will be our units that we have done. Just quickly, I'm not going to give a whole review on this. I'm going to wait till the end of the year, but this is Who is God and Can I Really Know Him? And this is by Apologia. And so it is trying to get back to the foundations. This is part of a 4-part series, who is God, and then who is myself, who is my neighbor, and then who is the world, something along those lines. It's supposed to be done in a 4-year succession. So we're on year 1. We're about halfway done, as you can see here. And I wanted to really love this. And it's not that I don't. If you and your children have not really been to church for a long time, or you don't have a background in that, or they're not used to going to church, or having not even church, but just learning about the Bible and biblical things and haven't had that, this is really good. I think this will be a really, really good starter foundation. I think it's really good for that. But if you've already are familiar with that, you've kind of been around that, you've been a Christian for years, or you have just a good biblical knowledge, your children do too, I think at least the first half, I will come back at the end of the year and let you know my final thoughts on it. But so far, the first half, I feel like we could have skipped it and my kids already know all about it. And they're like, yeah, we know this. And again, they're not complaining, this is so boring. They listen. But I kind of evaluate, girls, do you feel like you're learning anything? And they're just not really. We kind of already know this, going about their day. So that's kind of where we're at right now with that. So just something to keep in mind so far. We'll see how it goes at the end of the year. All right, let's talk about Larissa. She is in 5th grade. I'll link below if you're interested, because I'm not going to go through all their curriculum. I will share each of their individual curriculum I've done in videos last spring, and so you can kind of get an idea from that. She is still using everything she started with at the beginning of the year. Again, I've been homeschooling her since first grade, second grade. We kind of had to finagle around and find our way and see what worked and didn't, and I think there's a lot of trial and error. But at this point, fourth, fifth grade, we really go through, me and her together, and really go through and nail down the curriculum choices. So she has a say-so, and she's pretty satisfied with what she chooses and likes. And, you know, there's things that she likes better than others. There's certain things she enjoys more than others. But at this point, there's no major changes for her. So I feel like that could be like good and reassuring if you have younger kids. I know a lot of you are first or second year homeschoolers, or you have younger children. So if you're like, oh my goodness, I always see all these YouTube moms and they're always changing, and I'm about to tell you what I'm going to change right now. Just hold on a second. But I think when they get older, I think you kind of get a feel for it, and it does get a little easier. And for the most part, not to say there won't ever be changes, but when they get older, I think for the most part, you kind of get into your rhythm and groove and find what works. And at least that has been what's worked for us the past few years. And I think going forward, we kind of know what she likes, what she doesn't mean we'll never change again. I think we're pretty solid in our choices, and so we're not having to switch curriculum all throughout the year. So she's good. I'm sorry, I know that's a boring update, but maybe it offers a little bit of a relief if you're wondering will I always be changing curriculum, or will we ever find something that works for us? You will find something that works for you, rest assured. Okay, Alexia Grace, she is my third grader. If you're new here, she's going to a Christian school this time. If you've been around, you already know. And the reason I'm sharing, although it's not a homeschool update, is because I have been asked by a lot of you to give an update on how school's doing for her, how's it going, how are we rearranging our school schedule and her school and all of that, and how that's working, just the logistics of it all. And so I will just say, I kind of hesitate to say a lot, because I feel like if I say too much and then we do something else, then it's going to be well, you said this. Why are you changing your mind this year? So I kind of am just about it. I'll just say she loves school. She is very happy, and not happy oh, mom gave us cookies for dinner and let us stay up till midnight. She just seems very content, just her whole spirit and her, just in general, her whole demeanor. So I'll leave that there. We have opportunities to talk. She's academically, she's doing really well. And as far as treating people kindly and things like that, she's, you're going to run into that in school. I'm very proud of the way she's handled herself in situations. There's nothing been earth shattering. She tells me everything that happens every day. But it's just normal third grade stuff, but it's, all the situations she's been in, I've been really proud of her. And she kind of acts surprised, oh, really? I did the right thing? And I'm yes, just reassuring her, all these years you've been listening. I didn't know if you were. Honestly, I'm are my children listening to this? But they are. And so I've been really proud of her. Truly am proud of her. I don't know what next year is going to hold. It might look completely different. I don't know. We're just literally taking it year by year. I think probably towards the end of the year is when we will finalize our decision of what's going to happen for next year. But as far as the logistics of when we take off, if she's off school, do we take off and all that? That's actually only happened. We're about halfway through the year. We actually all just started back today. She just started with school. We started with school. We only had about a week and a half off, which normally I take 2 full weeks for Christmas, but my girls were ready, and I was kind of ready too to come back, which I didn't think I was. I thought I'd need 3 weeks, but a week and a half was fine. And so there's only been 1 or 2 days where she'd have a day off. And so she'd, just hang around here. She's I'll participate in morning time. And she's helped Lola read. And Lola's I want to read to my sister. And so there's only been a few days of that. And then there's only been a few days where we took off and she had school. And so overall, our Thanksgiving schedules have aligned. Our Christmas schedules have aligned, and that's pretty much how it's been. I am not a year-round homeschooler. I have always followed a traditional school schedule. So we always, like, our homeschool kind of looks like that anyway. So it wasn't a real big adjustment. We do school 5 days a week. So none of that is really different. Like that kind of thankfully happened organically. And then getting to school and things, that sometimes, I'm going to be honest, like, is a struggle because I don't always love getting out the door at 8:15 in the morning, but it is what it is. It has to happen. It does allow me to make sure I'm dressed every day at that point and not in my bathrobe till noon, which is great. So there's been like good things. There's been like not the most convenient things, but you know, it's give and take. So that is the update for her, how we're doing school, how we're adjusting our schedules, and how that aligns together. Okay, and lastly, Miss Lola Bell. She is in first grade. My little, she's my little curveball. I have done a Becca with both of my children, or with all of my kids, on and off from kindergarten, preschool. I'm trying to like think back from all the years, first, second, third, yeah, up to third grade. And so I have always done either the Good and the Beautiful or a Becca for grammar, language arts, and for math. I always use the Good and the Beautiful for our main math, and a Becca I supplement with one sheet of their arithmetic per day. And so that has always worked great, well. I really, really, really love a Becca for especially their kindergarten, first, second grade. They have a very, very strong phonics and reading program. So I just went ahead and was like, we're going to just do a Becca. It's going to be easy. It has the worksheets. It's colorful, it's bright, and it works really well. So that just ended up not working for Lola. It just was not a good fit. And so I thought maybe she just needed time to kind of catch up and mature and go like increase her reading level and phonics skills and things like that. It was just too much. And so we took a pause on a Becca. I did Explode the Code with her. I shared that in the last video. And the reason I did that is because I was like, I'm not buying a whole new curriculum. I already have, you know, everything that we have. I already spent the money on it. And we're going back to a Becca probably in January. So I didn't want to commit to like buying a whole curriculum. And so Explode the Code was like, I don't know, like $12 or $15. And so that was like, I can swallow that pill a little bit easier. My older two and myself personally are workbook girls. Like, I loved doing worksheets. My older two love doing worksheets. They just love it. They don't mind doing worksheets. It's fine. It doesn't tax them. I did continue like still doing her charts and her readers. Where's her reader? It's somewhere around here. Oh, here it is. Her readers that she had from Becca, and then was going to do Explode the Code. She hated Explode the Code, like hated it. Whereas one child loved it. She was like, it just is a little bit antiquated for her. It was black and white. It was humdrum, ho-hum, just not her style at all. And so I'm kind of like, let's keep trying until it's like, this is just not working with us anymore. And so that's why I love to do so much like research and like really choose wisely, because I don't want to just pick willy-nilly, like, let's try this and let's try this. But sometimes it doesn't matter how much research you do, you're still going to end up finding something or getting something that just is not a good fit for your kid. And that's okay. And, you know, something might be a really good fit that you love to teach and you know is effective. And hey, this worked with my other kids. But if it's not working with this one, that's okay too. Sometimes we just got to let it go and move on. So we let it go. We moved on. I said multiple times, like, we're coming back to a Becca, and truth be like, that was my honest to goodness. That's what I thought was going to happen. Sometime recently in the last month or two, I was like, this is not working. I don't want them to hate reading, and I don't want them to hate math, especially reading, because this is something that they're going to need for a long time, and they have to do math, right? Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. So I try to, especially at this young age, get something that is going to, if it doesn't at least wow them and thrill them, at least it's tolerable to them and not that they're dreading and just like whining about the whole time. And that's just where I draw the line. Like if they're just completely whining about it and we have tried multiple things, then it's like, let's go back to the drawing board and see what we can do differently. So with that long-winded answer, but I just feel like I like to explain myself and just to give a like reference, especially to like newer homeschoolers, because I know that there's so many out there and you might feel like it's just you. It's not just you. You know, you could find the perfect thing for perfect curriculum and it just might not work. So this is no bash against Abeka. Like Abeka people, do not come after me. I still 100% stand behind it and think it's probably the strongest, one of the strongest phonics and reading programs out there, and I will never be convinced otherwise that it's not one of the strongest ones. And it's because it's been around forever. So what we end up choosing was The Good and the Beautiful. And some of you are gonna be like, oh good. Some of you are gonna roll your eyes. I know, it's just probably predictable because those are like the two curriculum that I do. But I promise you, I don't just like, when I research curriculum, I research, and I probably looked up 15 different ones to choose from, and I came to this. And the reason is because my daughter, it fit everything she loves. She loves homeschool. She loves poetry. She loves art. She likes studying art, and she likes to draw, to paint, anything, and that's included in the lesson. She loves that there's animals in the lesson that she can name. She loves that it's like, draw a heart around, if it's a long A, draw a heart around it. All of that is right up her alley. Like she has been doing all that stuff even before she got this book. Rate your favorite animal from 1 to 4. Like she loves all of that. She doesn't ever complain. And I'm like, it's grammar time. And she's like, okay, she's fine with it. She gets excited about some of the lessons. She loves doing the apps and the games. She loves, of course, because it's using a tablet, right? She loves listening to the stories. There was like a little kitty, like a cat party or something, a kitten party. And she got to like make an origami cat and name the kittens. And all of that is up her alley. She gets to paint. She gets to look at, she loves poetry. Like my girl is a little Charlotte Mason girl at heart. Who would have thought? Not me, because it's fine. And I do it sometimes because I like to have that enrichment and that aspect of it, because I'm very logical and literal and analytical. And so is my oldest and kind of my middle. And so having this little artsy kid, I think is really cool. And so I love that she loves to do that. And more importantly, she's still reading. She's still learning to read. She's getting all this and she's still learning, but she's not miserable and hating it and getting a bad taste in her mouth of, I don't like this. I don't like this, you know, and that is what I want to avoid. This works really well for her. Again, this doesn't really work well for my other daughter last year. She didn't really love it. And so it's just funny how like they're so different. What works for one doesn't work for the other. And so again, but anyway, like I was saying, I had researched a lot and I think this one would just fit what I was looking for as far as not too heavy on grammar. And then also teaching phonics in a way that made sense, that could kind of still correlate with Abeka, because I wanted to keep the readers and I wanted to keep the flashcards. And a lot of the programs I looked at, like their phonics was taught a little differently, or they had a really heavy emphasis on grammar, or it looked great, but you still needed the teacher guide and it was going to be really expensive. Like I didn't want to spend $100, you know? And so this one just kind of checked all those boxes. And so that is what we have decided, and it's been going really well so far. How we're doing this is I just bought the course book. So the course book includes phonics, writing, reading, grammar, and punctuation, spelling, literature, geography, and art. I'm not going to be focusing, we'll do the grammar lessons, but I'm not really concerned if she picks that up at this point. Again, it's mostly reading, which I said, and spelling not so much. I don't really care about if she can spell the word to at this point. I know she will. I want to just focus on the basics of it, the foundation. So I said, I'm not getting more readers, and there's booster cards, like phonics booster cards, which basically just, it's like a little booklet that has phonics principles in it that they go through. And I was like, I already have that, and she doesn't mind the readers, so we're sticking with the Becca readers. I already have them. And so why not? Why spend money when I don't need to? So we're doing the readers. And then again, I have these basic phonics charts, and then the phonics flashcards, which are just a bigger version of these. And these again are very, it just goes through the phonics words. So we're still continuing that aspect of it. But as far as like the meat of the curriculum, she's doing this, and she's really liking it. Okay, and then lastly, as far as her math goes, she's still doing the Good and the Beautiful math level 1. My girls, all of them, have always done the Good and the Beautiful math, and then a Becca 1 or 2 worksheets, just as kind of like a supplement to kind of just help fill in any gaps, so to speak, just to kind of give a different perspective, different practice, all of that. It takes them 5 minutes. It's not a big deal. That she was still finding to be too much. She was just like, Mom, I really don't like a Becca. I like the Good and the Beautiful math. I just don't like my Becca math sheets that I have to do. And here's the thing. She's not like a complainer child. Like, she is very, very like go with the flow. She's very just laid back. And so if she's like voicing her opinions, I want to listen to that. And again, it's not like, Mom, I want to stay up all night watching movies and eating ice cream for dinner. Like, it's not giving into the whims in that aspect, but it really is about like listening to our kids. You know, if she said, I don't like math, period, well, then that's a different story. You know, like, sorry, I know you don't like math, but we have to do it. But when it's something like, I don't like doing this extra math sheet, then it's like, okay, let's kind of reevaluate. So we have actually put that math book on the side, on the back burner as well. I was having her do 1 sheet a day, and then I even cut it back down to like 3 lessons of the Good and the Beautiful, and 3 days a week, and then 2 days of a Becca. And those days she would complain and like whine and moan, and like she just didn't like it. She always was like, can I do my other math? And so again, it's coming back to giving them that as best as we can. It's always a fine line, making them not hate the subjects that we're trying to teach. Like, that is the point of homeschooling, is that, well, one of the points is that we can give them the opportunity to really enjoy and love, because when they're going to school, they don't get to choose what curriculum they're working with and what works best for them. And so this is one of the benefits. So that has just been something that we have laid down as well. And so her days are much easier, much faster, much simpler, much smoother, and she's still doing really well. So that is going to wrap up what's going on with her. Some big changes, some not so much, but she, I think, has changed the most out of anybody as far as curriculum goes. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you being here. And if you would like to subscribe, I would love to have you here. And if you found this video helpful, just hit that like button. It really, really does help my channel. Don't forget to enter the giveaway, $200 to Amazon. All you have to do is download, give a review, and comment on my video, #teachers. Thank you so much. I hope you have a good day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.